Cause I don't like you just based off of your face. I look for what's in
Beauties and my beasts. Today's video is about things not to say to a pansexual person, and I have gotten probably most of these. And if I haven't gotten most of these in person, I've gotten them online and things like that. Okay. So number one. But you look so gay/straight. In my opinion, people's sexuality does not match up with their gender expression always, and sometimes it does. Sometimes you can look at a person and tell, yep, that person's gay, or yep, that person's straight, but most of the time you don't know, and you need to go up to that person and talk to them and find out what sexuality they are if you want to know. Number two, so you're bisexual. Or I get, oh, so that's just a special snowflake term for bi. So I haven't got the second one before, but I've gotten the first one where like, oh, so you're bi. No, because if I was bisexual, I would probably be called bisexual. I'm pansexual. I prefer the term pansexual. A lot of people identify with both, and that's totally okay. But for me, myself, I identify as pansexual. So if I tell you, oh, I only identify as pansexual, please don't be like, oh, no, oh, but you're like bi, right? Or like, oh, so that you're just a bisexual that's like looking for attention. And it's like, no, I'm not. If I wanted to identify as bisexual, I would probably do so. You know, that's not a real sexuality. If you don't want to know my sexuality, that's fine. But don't tell me my sexuality doesn't exist because it interferes with what you think, okay? Because my sexuality, unless I'm sleeping with you, has nothing to do with you. Okay, so you're like sexually attracted to pans or something? Yes. Yes, I am sexually attracted to pans. I'm totally attracted to pans. That's definitely what I'm attracted to. Definitely. Oh, so you want to sleep with everyone? No, okay? Just because I have the potential to be attracted to someone of any gender does not mean I'm attracted to everyone. I have standards, I have types, I have certain things I like about one gender that I don't like about another. It's, honestly, I don't want to sleep with everyone. And if you want to sleep with everyone, fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But me personally, no, I don't. And I don't think you should assume any pansexual or any bisexual person or any multisexual person sleeps with everyone or wants to sleep with everyone or is sexually attracted to everyone. And that's needless to say that sexual attraction is not the only form of attraction, and I'll make a whole separate video about that, but that's that. There's only two genders, so your sexuality is invalid. That's a whole nother thing that I'm also gonna put something like that relates to that in my things not to say to schwa people when I make that video, but like, if you don't believe in those genders, that's fine, but, you know, it's not really your place to say. If you don't identify with that, that's fine, but don't say somebody's gender doesn't exist, because they're very valid for what they feel. And if they feel that they're one thing, you can't just say, oh, nope, you don't feel that way, because you don't feel that way, is kind of stupid. The frying pan jokes. I cannot deal with these frying pan jokes, okay? It's not funny, okay? I'm not sexually attracted to frying pans. I'm not. And you shouldn't assume I'm blah, 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 sexually attracted to pans. No, okay? I'm not. So shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Knowing and self-identifying as pan, but saying you're bi, so you won't need to explain it, is something that happens with some pansexual some pansexual people do that. I've never done that. But maybe if I wasn't very close to that person and I wasn't planning on having that person in my life and they asked me, oh, what's your sexuality? What are you into? I would say bisexual. But if there's somebody who's, like has a role in my life, I'm going to tell them, like, hey, I'm pansexual. And I make it fairly obvious. I'm very proud to be a pansexual pansexual person. Um, so, um, So betrayal from the LGBT plus community, and that's not for everyone. A lot of LGBT people have been very kind to me. Most people I hang out with are LGBT, so yeah, they understand, and they've never really said anything that's messed up like that, like things like this. But there are some LGBT people who don't believe pansexuals are part of the community and things like that, and that sucks. Hearing somebody who's also part of a group you're in, like, I guess we're like all the queer people against the straight people, but it's not really like that, but it's just somebody who's from your group, somebody who, like, knows the struggles of being attracted to the same sex. It sucks and it hurts that people are like, oh, you're not part of the community because this. And it's like, who are you to tell me I don't fit into this community because you fit into one of those, okay? But, you're not the leader whole thing of LGBT+. So, you have no right to tell me that I'm not part of the community because I'm pansexual. You have no right. Assuming you're straight or gay based on your partner's gender expression. So, if I'm dating a non-binary person, or even, let's say, a binary person, if I'm dating somebody and they present femininely and look like a female, if I'm dating a cisgender female, you're gonna assume I'm gay. And you see me with my partner. If you see me with somebody, a cisgender male, you will assume I'm straight. It's just how things are. You're assumed one or the other. You're never really thought to be like, oh, you're this. You could be attracted to both. You don't really get that in your head. You assume one or the other, which really sucks. So unless you go up to that person, you're not going to know, like, oh, I like this and I like this. I know there are a lot of times where I've assumed girls I like were straight because they, I guess, present really femininely and things like that, and they're very, very beautiful, and I was like, oh, she can be into me. But that's more of my, like, self-deprecating side where I'm like, they couldn't be into me. Or I would think that, oh, they're not into me because they don't like women. Well, they turned out to be bisexual, so always ask. So you're promiscuous or more likely to cheat? No, I'm very against cheating. I can't respect a person who's cheated. And if it happened once, like 20 years ago or 10 years ago or like 5 years ago, before you met me, that's fine, okay? But if in your last relationship you cheated like 10 times on that person and they were still with you, I'm like, no, goodbye, I'm not putting up with this BS. It's like, no. And more promiscuous, I'm not that promiscuous. I mean, I've been in relationships where it's like, oh, don't really care if we're with other people. As long as, like, we tell each other about it, we're pretty honest about it. I don't identify as polyamorous. Or more, I'm like situational polyamorous. If the other person wants to do it, that's fine. But if not, that's also fine. I don't really care one way or the other. So I wouldn't identify as polyamorous, but it can happen, I guess, and I wouldn't mind. But no, I'm not very promiscuous. I don't go out and like hook up with people I'm not in a relationship with, or I don't have an understanding with. So no, I'm not promiscuous because I'm pansexual. And also, bisexual people are not always promiscuous. I mean, there's straight people out there that are promiscuous, and you're not like, oh, you're promiscuous because you're straight. No, that's stupid. Don't base the sexuality on a few people. because that's stupid. So that's kind of my rant about things people say to me because I'm pansexual, or things that some of my other friends who are also pansexual have heard. So yeah. So, to the moon and back, my lovelies.
If you're a boy, if you're a girl, if you're a non-binary girl, if you're a gender fluid human being, if you're black, if you're